very much. Chair Yellen, I'm very worried about China. And I want to ask you something. Should we consider prohibitions for U.S. private equity investment in private sector firms which have ties to the Chinese military and the Chinese state surveillance apparatus? Now, you are very much aware of the reports that China is trying to establish a military base operations just 90 miles from our shores in Cuba. What is your assessment of this? Are you taking this as serious as I am? And what do you propose we should do for any private equity firm that would have connections with their military or surveillance operation? This is very serious. You know, I mentioned this in an earlier session we had when we failed to shoot down that surveillance balloon. And I said then that this was a mistake by the Biden administration. It was a mistake because it showed weakness to China, and it showed uncertainty to our own friends. So tell me, what do we do about this situation? What is your assessment about this threat? And should we not prohibit any investments to any of these Chinese companies that have connections and are involved with China's military and surveillance apparatus?
So we are looking at potential restrictions on outbound investment that could pertain to private equity firms that invest in Chinese firms with connections to their military. And we are worried about potential national security risks that would come.
Let me ask you this in my time. What is your assessment of it? I have great respect for you. You've been our leading Treasury Secretary on 2 terms, and I've worked with you, and I respect your broad intelligence on foreign matters. How serious are you taking this effort to put a military surveillance 90 miles from our shores?
Well, we are concerned about China's role in the Caribbean and in Latin America more generally.
But as Secretary, I want what you feel. Do you feel like I feel that this is a serious attack on the United States? Now, if you remember, about 50 years ago, they tried to do something similar. But John Fitzgerald Kennedy acted promptly. What are we going to do?
Well, I don't have an answer for you on what we're going to do, but certainly protecting our national security is a core concern. And with respect to China, we're carrying that out in a broad range of ways, from export controls to entity lists to, in some cases, sanctions and potentially restrictions on outbound investment.
Do you feel that this may be a primary move that would precede their intentions over in Kuwait and in Taiwan?
I really can't comment on that. I don't.
All right. Thank you, Secretary.